Welcome to another daily dose of Greatness Quest. Today's subject is high-paying clients, why you need them, how you can increase your fees, and how they're going to save you and your business. All right, talk to you in just a sec.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of Greatness Quest with your host, Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool.
All right. Well, today's subject is near and dear to my heart because this completely saved my bacon. Understanding that I have value and that I am worth the fee to go ahead and charge, like a high amount, like anything over $1,000 is what I call a high-paying client, saved me from like struggling and barely getting by, and it brought me back from my $2.2 million bankruptcy. Because at the time, I was trying to sell very low-ticket shit. It was trying to sell stuff, if you believe it, I was selling an energy drink that was the cost of $1. And if you do some math, you got to sell an awful lot of those energy drinks to be able to make any kind of real money. How many do you have to sell to make $1 million? Well, I'll tell you what, a hell of a lot more than $1 million of them, because I didn't get all that buck. It cost, we had to create the product and do all of that stuff. So what happened is I was struggling significantly in my business and trying to become successful and doing all the cool things to build myself back. And high-paying clients saved everything. I remember when I finally shifted my business, and I kind of almost fell into it accidentally. My first client paid me, I think, $2,500 for a one-day consultation. And I remember it was a doctor. We were in Las Vegas. I was doing this amazing, I was teaching people to use this medical device, and I had never really sold my consulting skills. In the past, I had been sold some coaching and consulting a little bit, but I'd always felt guilty for charging a lot of money. And this really, changed everything for me, because if you can imagine the difference between a $1 sale when I'm selling this energy drink, and then I made a sale for $2,500 to sell my consulting to this doctor for one day, what I found was absolutely remarkable. Everything shifted in my business, in my life, when I started packaging and pricing my products and services actually higher. My client on that day was extremely enthusiastic about the value that I brought into her life, and it began my stage of charging more than I'm worth. And this is extremely relevant to me today because my wife is going through, we're just about to give birth to our brand new baby. And I say we, I think that is kind of an exaggeration, because it's not me, I guess, it's my wife entirely. It has nothing to do with me, other than I have a pregnant wife who is now 6 days, I believe, 6 days overdue on delivering our baby. Now, why is this relevant to you now? My wife has a phenomenal business. Last week, so she's 9 months pregnant, and last week she was still doing a little bit of business, even though she doesn't really have to. She wanted to, and so she was meeting with some new clients, and she had 4 client conversations. Now, my wife's average ticket price is, let's say, over $10,000. It's definitely over $10,000. But she met with 4 different clients last week, and they got her book, and they probably went to her webinar, and they did whatever they do to go ahead and be indoctrinated and know that they might want to work with my wife. And so she's positioned and systematized her business in such a way that people value her service, and she values her service that she offers to other people. To give you a little background on my wife, years ago when she launched her coaching and consulting business, her first year, she did $500 whopping dollars. That's right. She made $500 her first year of her own consulting business. And not that impressive, but a year later she did 150 grand, not bad. The year after that she did over 500 grand. So within 2 years she went from $500 to $500,000. And last week she had 4 client conversations, and those clients, each one of them chose to hire my wife, and all for over a $10,000 price point. So let's just do the math on that. My wife, being 9 months pregnant, was able to make 4 sales. Let's just call them $10,000 sales. That's $40,000 that she made last week, and that she generated for a business. And here's the crazy thing. Only is she pregnant, but she is not stressed out about. And when they make a sale and they have a new client, especially if they're in the service business, this is a pain in the ass. Like what they did, especially if they're a thought leader, a coach, a consultant, a speaker, something like that, they now have to go fulfill on that client, and that client will cost them time and money and energy and resources that they can never get back. And they have to trade that time and money and energy and resources in exchange for that money that they got paid, that high-paying client. My wife, however, has 2 important variables. So write these questions down, because these are the 2 questions that you need to ask yourself about your packaging and pricing. And these are 2 variables that you want to consider when you're going to improve your packages and your pricing. And that is, number 1, is what you have sellable. And I remember my wife obviously has something that's sellable, meaning that people will buy it, that people want to buy it. It means that you have sold it. You have something that people want, and the proof of that is that they actually buy it from you. So in order to make this happen, is your stuff sellable? Years ago, I hired a consultant, and it was the most money I'd ever paid a consultant at the time, and I dropped him $10,000 for my first phone call. And I had a phone call with him, and he said, Trev, I'm going to make this really simple for you. There's all kinds of stuff you could waste your time on, and it's not like you have any problem of being busy, but my job is to help you bypass all the bullshit and get right down to it on what are the most powerful things you can do that'll grow your revenue. And so he asked me 2 questions. What do I have? Is what I have sellable? And is what I have, question number 2, is what I have scalable? Is it sellable? And that was the proof he was looking for. Did I have something that anybody had actually bought? Or was it all an idea in my head that I'd created, and I just hoped, I thought for sure someone might do it? There was a big difference. I wasn't congruent in that case, and I needed to go ahead and meet that criteria. So now that's my question for you. Here's the question. Is what you have, is whatever it is that you sell, is it sellable? Meaning someone has already bought it, the packages and products and services that you offer. Is what you've got sellable, and is it scalable? Is when you make a sale, like my wife, who is super pregnant right now, we're hoping for her to burst. In fact, I could get a phone call in the middle of what I'm doing right now, and she would say, my water broke and I'm going to have a baby. Are you selling things in such a way that it does not stress you out, that you can add 1 client or 2 clients or 10 clients, and you have the capacity to be able to fulfill them? Now, by the way, if you haven't heard this from me already, I'm going to go ahead and state it again. There's always 2 businesses that you're in. And again, on my show, I'm always talking about things that will help you improve your life and your business. But there's always 2 businesses that you're in. There's the business that you're in today that you need to make sure that you do all the things you got to do to operate that business, and that you fulfill on your promises, and that you make people happy, and you got to run that business. If you forget about running that business and you only build your business in the future, that's business number 2, the business that you need to become. If you're only working on that business that you're going to build in the future, then you're not running the business you have today, and you don't make enough money today, and you don't be able to fulfill on your client promises today, and you're going to go bankrupt, or you're going to thrown in jail, or you're going to go out of business because you're not taking care of current business. But the second business you've got to consider is, what business are you becoming? What business do you need to become? Because if you don't become this business, this future business that you need to be, you're going to be out of business. Ask Blockbuster Video. They didn't transition into the new generation, into new times. They were from pretty phenomenal business for a while. Those people were in the pager business. That wasn't a business that lasted. If you ask Circuit City, that's a company that isn't around anymore. The big boys of business need to consider this just as much as the little guys. And so you're always building 2 businesses. So if your answer to the question today was what you have isn't necessarily as sellable as you want it to be, and what you have that you're currently selling isn't as scalable as you want to be, that's totally cool. You just need to tell the truth today about what that is for you, and then you start to build that business of what you need in the future. Now, what I promised you today is I was going to talk to you about why it's so important that you have high-paying clients, and also how you can go ahead and increase your fees so that you can attract and get more clients. So let me talk about that real quickly. If you don't have high-paying clients, then that means that you need to sell low-ticket shit, and that's fine. You can make a lot of money selling low-ticket shit. You just got to sell it to a lot of different people. You got to get a lot of marketing out there that's going to sell, a whole bunch of your stuff, hopefully automatically, so you can make $1 million selling a $1 item or a $10 item or a $100 item, or anything that I would call a low-ticket item is anything under $1,000, okay? But if you do like my wife did, or like I just did the other day, I sold. I have a consulting session that I sell for $2,500, and I gave it to a friend of mine at a discount, and it was because it was a fast action thing. And I said, "Hey, brother, I want to work with you. I want to help you," and he really needed my help. And I made a sale. It was $1,500. And I'll be able to deliver that on one phone call, deliver the value of what I promised him on one phone call. So one phone call, $2,500. It's okay for me to trade time for money, but that is also my call that I will give him a strategic session, like a blueprint of what he should go do next, and the results that he should go create in his business, and exactly the action steps he needs to go take to go ahead and kick it into the next level for both his book and his business and everything that we do. And then my upsell to him will be, hey, brother, do you want my help with that? That's my big sales process of like how to do it. I guess I gave you an insight into how to sell too, okay? So this is, hopefully you got some value there. And by the way, if you haven't done this yet, I've got a book I wrote on high-paying clients and how do you attract them and whatnot. You guys can go check that out. I guess I'll put it in the show notes here. Go to trevorcrane.com/free book. Real complicated. trevorcrane.com/free book. And you can go get that book for free, high-paying clients. You can learn how to attract them and all that. But I want to give you something you can use right now. How do you increase your fees? Hopefully you get it, that you don't have to go sell low-ticket shit only. It's cool if you do, but you just got to sell a whole bunch of them to be able to make big money. I like helping you make big money. So hopefully you got the power of doing that and selling that instead of trying to sell a $300 item to a whole bunch of people, and you sell to 10 people and you made $300, you made $3,000. Awesome. It can be harder to do that sometimes, especially if you sell something for $10. You got to sell a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so how do you increase your fees without being a jackass? I'm going to tell you two stories real quick, and it's going to be fast. I was also working with a gentleman by the name of Frank Kern. If you don't know him, he's pretty badass. And he asked me some similar questions as my other consultant I mentioned to you. But he was talking to me and he said, Trev, how much do you charge? My first consultation with Frank, and how much do you charge? And at the time I was charging $2,500 for one of the things I did for coaching and consulting. And he goes, all right, he goes, let me help you make more money. Is that what we're going to do here? Yeah. And he said, okay, let me ask you a question. Could you raise your fee? And first of all, he said, Trevor, do you offer a massive transformational value when you charge that for people? Like, do people pay you that? And I said, yes, they do. Pay me $2,500 a month. And he goes, cool. He goes, would you be, he goes, do you deliver some cool value for your clients now? And I'm like, absolutely. They freaking love it. They can't wait to get some more. It was awesome. He goes, let me just ask you a question. Could you charge $2,870? Basically, can you raise your fee $370 and not really do anything different, but would you feel congruent? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think you could sell it? And so I had a little conversation with my wife, and we said, you know what? I think we could. I mean, my wife was on the phone with me at the time, and we said, yes. So here's the thing. He said, Trevor, how many clients are you currently getting? And I'm like, we get 1, 2, 3 clients a month. And he goes, how often do you get 3 clients a month? I'm like, almost pretty much all the time right now. He goes, okay. So if I just made you, if you can increase your fees to this month, what's 3 times $387? It's basically $1,000. So in one phone call with him and in one conversation with him, he just made me an extra $1,000 a month to just increase the fee that I have of what I'm currently selling. So that's one of your challenges. I'm challenging you right now to try to raise your fees or come up with a new package that you can offer that'll add even more value. So I want to give you a strategy of how you can make what you sell even more desirable, because maybe you think it's not fair and you don't think it's congruent to be able to just raise your fee, okay, because you could. But if you don't believe that, then you shouldn't offer it, because that would be cheating someone. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to think of doubling your fee right now. So just do this exercise with me real quickly, and we're going to finish this up. Write down whatever the amount of money is, or imagine in your mind what you charge right now for your core offer of what you think is cool, right? I want you to double that fee, whatever that is. So if it was $100, I want you to charge $200. If it was $1,000, I want you to charge $2,000. And if you're from $1,000 to $2,000, double it again and go to $4,000. Now here's my question for you. And here is another challenge to you. So there's 2 challenges today. Actually, just do this homework real quick and then take the challenge and increase your fees and offer a new package. Here's what you do. Your next step, here is your homework. What value would you have to add to make what you currently offer worth $4,000? Like when you double your money and double your price and double it again. Like what would you have to add? And here's my challenge to you. Instead of it being your sweat labor, instead of you having to work your ass off in order to make this happen, try to find things that you could add to this that would be a massive transformational value for your client, that it would give them more value. Don't just screw people by raising your fees, but what would give them an amazing value that you could give them that did not cost your time and money? Think about scalability again. Do you have something that you could give away, that maybe a course or a program or another partner that you might have? Or let's just say like you have a friend of yours who's a chiropractor and you think they're completely badass, or a massage therapist, and you would like to bring that value to your client. And you thought, you know what, if you hire me, you get a free massage. And you talk to that massage therapist and you say, would it be okay with you if I gave away a free massage for all of my new clients? Try to come up with something cool that you could add to stack the cool. This is also something I learned from Frank Kern. That's a term from him. That's pretty badass. What could you do to stack the cool in your package so that your value is worth that $4,000, whatever your number became? And then you can go ahead and charge whatever you think is appropriate for this new thing. See, that's your homework. Find ways to add more value to people so that they think, holy shit, this would be a really cool thing to buy. Make it so compelling that they would feel stupid not to get it. Because there's certain people out there that really would love to buy your stuff. I would say try to make your packages even cooler. Try to give people more. And then make sure that you charge what you're worth. See, when you devalue your products and services and you only charge $10 or $20 or only $100, and you charge low ticket shit for your stuff, you know, like you can go to the dollar store and buy shit for $1 and it's really cool. Except you know that stuff is crap. You know you're buying crap. But when you go to someplace and you spend over $1,000, see, when people pay, they pay attention. And I had to learn, this is another lesson that I had to learn in my life and in my business, is that when you sell shit for a low price point, people actually value it for what they pay for it. If you give away stuff for free, they value it based on what they pay for it, which is nothing. They'll go, well, what was this worth? Well, I paid nothing for it, so therefore it's worth nothing. Or I paid very little for it, so therefore it's worth very little. So you can give your best advice. And this is one of my challenges with giving away awesome freaking nuggets for you every single day on the Daily Dose of Greatness class, is that you might accidentally value what I'm giving you based on what you paid for it, which is nothing because it's a free show, but you'd be doing yourself a disservice. Instead, I would want you to pretend like you have now invested $10,000 a month to work with me. If you did, if you paid, you'd pay attention. You'd take action with what I gave you because you'd have to. Because if not, you wouldn't just keep flushing money down the toilet with somebody. So that's my challenge for you today, to go out and actually raise your fees, find a way to make a package, and don't wait. Go ahead and make that offer to someone. And if you got some value from today's episode, make sure that you like this podcast, that you leave us a great review on iTunes, and then you share it with someone that you might that you love and you care about and might value it. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you later. I will see you on our next episode of a Daily Dose of Greatness class. You have a great day.
To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.